Alright, so good morning everyone. My name is Isaac Hunter, and you can see from my slideshow there that I'm doing a bit of a speech on project cost estimation. So some of you might be wondering what that is, and some of you might be thinking that it is the same as project cost analysis, but in fact they're different. So let's have a look at what a project cost estimate is and how it's different from a project cost analysis. So a cost analysis involves a lot of research and investigation of each stage of the project design and coming up with a very detailed list of everything that you're going to need and to account for all factors of the project. Whereas a cost estimate is exactly that. It's an estimate. It involves less investigation and research and detail, and because of that it can be done a lot earlier in the project, meaning it can be used as a very good tool to negotiate with your client or your stakeholder or your sponsor when they have a different idea on what the project cost could be right at the start of the project. So let's have a bit of a look at an example of this. So you're part of a project team who is working on a project together. The client team for this project in their design brief stated that they don't believe that the project should cost more than $10,000. Your team gets together to discuss the undertaking of this project and come to the conclusion that the project might need up to $15,000 to ensure that all of the client requirements, specifications and constraints can be met. So a project cost estimate should be done and presented to the team to show the reasoning behind these thoughts, and a consensus between the team should then be reached. So the outcomes for this is that a project cost limit could be raised to allow the other aspects to continue as they have been specified, or the other aspects should be changed and altered to allow for the project cost limit to be set at the lower value. So let's have a look at how you can conduct a project cost estimate. This method I saw in a textbook called Project Management Demystified, and it's written by Sid Kemp, and it shows a method that is called Delphi method, and it's a very good method to use in team situations. So let's take a look at that. So you can see there that the first thing that is going to happen is you're going to have a trigger event. So you're going to have a need to create and approximate a cost estimate quickly and in the early stages of a project. So then this method is a structured brainstorming approach using a team of experts, such as the project team or client team, or any other experts that you might see fit for this type of activity. So the inputs, what are you going to need to be able to conduct this project? So you're going to have a range of estimated duration for the project, maybe a Gantt chart, and a scope statement. So the output, you're going to have an estimated project cost and a justification of this cost, which will then help you to negotiate. So what tools do you need? You need a meeting room with facilities for brainstorming and note-taking, so possibly a whiteboard or a projector, and a meeting table and chairs. Alright, so let's have a look at the processes there. So the first process is to organise the meeting. So obviously you have to arrange a place and a time that is suitable for everyone, and try and get the project documents out in advance. So scope document, Gantt chart, try and get those out to the team members in advance. So then we're going to have a presentation of the scope. So someone who is confident that they know the scope can get up and present the scope and make sure that there is no questions or queries about that, and make sure that everyone has the same ideas on the requirements of that scope. Then we're going to have the first round of estimation. So each member of the team will work individually to come up with an estimate, and this can be done by any method that the individual chooses. And then once that is done, we're going to have a presentation, so the first round of presentations. So each member will present their estimate and their reasoning as to how and why they got it, and all the other team members will take notes on the method, any little factors that they think is important. Then we're going to have another round of estimations where the team members will use the ideas that they note took from the first round of presentations from the other team members, and they're going to improve their method of estimation and come up with a new estimate. So then we're going to have a second presentation. So each team member will then present their revised estimates, and the other team members have a chance to ask questions and clarify any queries that they might be having issues with. So then there'll be an evaluation session. So hopefully all of the estimates will be within a 5% range of one another. So if this is the case, the estimates are all good, and you've got a fairly tight group, and that's good. If they're not within 5% of each other, then a team brainstorming session needs to be held, where the differences are resolved, talking about where the estimates are different and why, and you need to focus on the input from the team members with the highest and lowest estimates. So iteration is the next step. So if the estimates are still not within the 5%, have another brainstorming about the differences between the estimates and the causes for the differences, and then repeat process 5, 6, and 7. So then we have step 9, which is the wrap-up. So you need to identify the constraints and assumptions that were used by most of the team to attain their estimates, and obviously provide a brief range of the estimates for the report. So how can this help us with our projects? So it can help with the multidiscipline project and the individual project, obviously just with the design and management of that project. Another section where it can help us is with the personal framework, both personal frameworks. This method helped me personally, and so I'm going to use this method in my personal framework. If you use another method, or if you like a different way of doing it, then you can use that method in your personal framework. So let's have a bit of a reflect on what happened, what we talked about. So how could this method have helped you during the first part of the term? Could it have helped you during the initial stages of the multidiscipline project? Or did you use a different method which was equally as good? And how could you implement this process in any of its forms now that you know a bit more about it? Alright, so thank you very much for listening, everyone. And if you have any questions, please comment below or post on the Moodle forums, and I'll try and get back to you with any help that I can. Thank you very much.